The Philippine equity market is doing what it does best in times of uncertainty, and that's swinging between hope and fear. We opened the week off a three-day rally driven by bargain hunting, a strong balance of payment surplus, and growing bets on a December rate cut. Joining us now is Manny Ocampo, the President and COO of the Investment and Capital Corporation of the Philippines. Hi, Manny. Good morning, and thanks for being here with us.
Morning, Mikey.
Manny, we've had a wave of bad news. The index sank to pre-pandemic lows near 5,500, and yet that bottom seems to be holding. What do you make of this breather that we're seeing? Is this just a technical bounce?
We came off a bit of lows last week. So over the past few days, that has been a technical rebound that we saw coming back to about 6,000 levels. Early trading seems to indicate maybe some give again on the index, and we believe it'll, the market will trade in a band and see where we go from there, depending on news and new things coming out, Mikey.
Mm-hmm. Right now, we're down 1% to 59.36. Manny, what do you think is the biggest risk premium to the market right now?
Well, still politics. I'll have to say that. We've seen announcements come out about arrest warrants being issued late last week over the weekend, and we'd like to see government really carry on and follow through with these with serving these warrants and. Bring people to answer for their intransigence. So we'll see that maybe we'll see new bigger fish come out, and we hope the government will be serious about taking them to task and bringing them to justice.
Speaking of the government, Manny, we had this big cabinet shakeup mid-year into the president's midterm. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Amena Pangandaman resigned. Finance Secretary Ralph Recto is now the new Executive Secretary, and Frederick Go, formerly the president's point man for Investment and Economic Affairs, is now at the helm of the DOF. What does this reshuffle tell you?
Sorry, I think the reshuffle is good. The president is bringing in what I will call an A team going into the second half of his term, and we hope the team will remain until the end of his term, and so that there's a bit of continuity, and the personalities behind the new team. Let's start off with Secretary Dizon at DPWH. He's doing a great job, but maybe looking at what went wrong. I think, and we hope that from here, knowing what went wrong, he moves forward in implementing new things at the DPWH, because that will be, he'll need to move forward at some point.
Yeah, Manny, I just want to jump in there. Speaking of implementing new things, a really big thing for the market, the Securities and Exchange Commission overhauling the REIT laws. It's to open it up for infra. What are your thoughts on this huge development?
Well, that is the big story. The SEC recently put out the proposed revisions to the REIT law for comments, and if you read through it, it's really the SEC saying that we'd like to gear up maybe REITs for infrastructure projects, traditional infrastructure and digital infrastructure, tollways, water concessions, and the like on the traditional one, and then data centers and even fiber optic networks on the digital side.
They're going to be opening up an entirely new subclass. Manny, in just 3 years, REITs have pumped in almost 80 billion pesos into the market, becoming one of our few bright spots. How excited are you about this development by the Securities and Exchange Commission?
Very excited, because infrastructure will be a lot bigger. So you may where you had several real estate REITs come out, raising about $1.5 or so billion for infra projects, one REIT may be about $1 billion worth. No?
Yeah.
So, and there are several there. Yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of the timing of this overhaul, we're in an easing cycle. Expectations are for at least another 25 basis point rate cut in December, depending on November inflation figures, maybe a little bit more. We'll find out soon enough. How does this environment bode for this REIT, this new subclass of REITs?
Oh, it works well for REITs, no? Because REITs are, it's a dividend story. At the end of the day, if the interest rates come down, then it does well for REITs because issuers would be encouraged to come to market, not having to pay very high dividend yields, for example. So that was the case back in 2000, 2001. Rates were relatively low, and we saw a lot of REITs come to market. If BSB continues with its cuts in December and maybe hopefully into 2026, then that may see a new batch of infrastructure REITs coming to market, Mikey.
Okay, let's talk now about the longer reinvestment period. When a REIT raises money, the sponsor is required by law to reinvest those funds. The old one-year deadline forced principals to deploy capital quickly rather than strategically. Nothing is set in stone yet, but the SEC is proposing to move that 1 year to 2 years, to extend that by another year. Does this strike the right balance between flexibility and discipline? What are your thoughts on this extension, Manny?
Well, in fact, in previous consultations, I think the feedback was for a term longer than 2 years, but SEC is proposing. I think it was, feedback from market was that a 3 to 5 year reinvestment period was, something to give the sponsors some time to see what projects to reinvest in. And that's something they would need time to make strategic investments rather than tactical investments that, they feel rushed into.
Yeah. When it comes to REITs, all the big issuers are already there, Manny. But this is going to open it up for an infra theme. What are your thoughts on this, and when will we really feel these? It's going to take some time, so we're looking at maybe these things taking shape in 2027, maybe use 2026 to lay the groundwork. What are your thoughts on this, Manny?
Well, you probably will see different names now in coming to the REIT market. On the infrastructure side, you probably will see the Metro Pacific Group with their tollways, San Miguel with their tollway, San Miguel Infrastructure with their tollways also, Aboitiz Group maybe with their airport projects, PLDT with and Globe maybe with their data centers. So very interesting names and good names at that. I think it opens a class of investment alternatives for people to get into. And, it should spark interest again in our markets.
Yeah, definitely something to look forward to. Manny, the SEC is pushing hard. But what about the PSE? Given how fragile confidence is right now, what do you think the gaps? What are the gaps that need to be filled by on the private side, on the PSE side?
Sure. You have SEC trying to make things easier for issuers, for investors, and open up the field. No, the hope is that the stock exchange would also move in that direction towards introducing reforms to make it easier, to make it faster to list. So that's just to be consistent, both capital market regulators moving in the same direction. Mikey.
Okay, Manny Ocampo, thank you so much for your time. That's all the time we have for this segment, but we'll have you on again soon. Thank you so much, Manny.
Thank you also, Mikey. Thank you.